Is atheistic evolution scientific? Hi, it's Calvin Smith here, and welcome to Creation Basics, where our goal is to make God's creation part of your everyday conversation. Today's question is atheistic evolution scientific? And to be specific, is the idea of life coming from non-life, which is sometimes referred to as chemical evolution, is that a valid scientific proposition? I mean, why are we asking the question? Well, you see, because atheists have to explain their existence without God, they ultimately have to believe that life, at some time in the past, came into being from non-life. And I'm sure you've heard this claim, hundreds of times before. Science has proven evolution is fact. It's like this strange Darwinian chant that kind of emanates from atheist blogs and secular universities. But there's a big problem with this idea. It disagrees with one of the most well-established laws of science, which is the law of biogenesis. The law of biogenesis states life comes only from life and was discovered and established by the creationist scientist Louis Pasteur. So declaring belief in some kind of chemical evolution is therefore unscientific, because disagreeing with an established scientific law is by definition unscientific, especially when evolutionists have no such evidence to support that claim. It's simply a philosophical requirement, because if evolution is true, in their minds, well, it must have happened at some point. So atheistic evolutionists have to believe that this scientific law was once broken in the distant past and that life did come from non-living matter. But that would actually mean that this law of science isn't actually a law at all. After all, with one single exception to any scientific law, well, that renders it falsified. In effect, breaking a natural law would be a miracle. But of course, atheists tend to deny miracles. Now, in Darwin's day, many people swallowed the theory of spontaneous generation, that life arose from non-living matter. It was a little easier back then because the cell structure was almost unknown. But modern science has discovered vast quantities of complex, specific information in even the simplest of self-reproducing organisms. And as well-known evolutionists like Paul Davies have admitted in New Scientist magazine, here's a quote: "How did stupid atoms spontaneously write their own software? Nobody knows. There's no known law of physics able to create information from nothing." So, in reality, chemical evolution is based on blind faith, not scientific fact. Another famous non-creationist, information theorist, Hubert Yockey, observed that 20 years ago, and by the way, he hasn't revised his opinion since, here's the quote: "Research on the origin of life seems to be unique in that the conclusion has already been authoritatively accepted. What remains to be done is to find the scenarios which describe the detailed mechanisms and processes by which this happened. One must conclude that, contrary to the established and current wisdom, a scenario describing the genesis of life on Earth by chance and natural causes, which can be accepted on the basis of fact and not faith, has not yet been written." Now, as a matter of fact, in 1992, Yockey made an additional claim that's definitely encouraging if you believe in God. Quote, "The origin of life by chance in a primeval soup is impossible in probability in the same way that a perpetual machine is in probability. The extremely small probabilities calculated in this chapter are not discouraging to true believers. However, a practical person must conclude that life didn't happen by chance." Now, I've engaged with skeptics over the years, and one of the things I've noticed, which might help you if you engage in these types of discussions, is understanding that oftentimes what Bible skeptics will do is to try to make a differentiation between the law of biogenesis and chemical evolution or spontaneous generation, as if you're not talking about the same thing here, therefore trying to overcome the charge of being non-scientific. But it's a differentiation without a real difference. It's simply a difference in terminology rather than an actual difference in the argument. Simply ask this: regardless of what you want to call it, have we ever observed life coming from anything other than life? No. So is atheistic evolution, the idea of life coming from non-life, scientific? No, it actually defies one of the most well-established laws of science that we know. It's simply an anti-God philosophy trying to hide under a veneer of scientific credibility. Hey folks, Calvin here. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, share the content, click the button, blah, blah, blah. I know, you've heard it so often, it's just annoying. But here's the thing. If you're enjoying this content and want other people to benefit from it as well, kind of think of it as donating to our Answers in Genesis Canada advertising campaign without having to spend a dime. We want to be good stewards of your support, and of course advertising is very expensive. But with the algorithms set up the way they are, it's kind of like getting these platforms that are often quite unfriendly to Christian content to promote gospel outreach for free. And if you've been blessed by this content, understand the importance of biblical authority, and have the means, please consider giving a one-time gift or becoming one of our monthly supporters by clicking the link below. Stay blessed.